What's up, DC Nation? Welcome back to another video on Batman the Killing Joke. Now, last video we pretty much went over like the intro into this storyline, and we saw Batman just talking to the Joker at Arkham Asylum and telling how, oh, this will end soon, one of us will die, one of us will live, but he's trying to figure out a way to pretty much bring the Joker back from insanity. But this turned out not the Joker, it was like pretty much a deploy, it was another guy. Joker was at a carnival, killed this one guy and take over the carnival because he's going to use it for his plans. Then Joker went to Commissioner Gordon's apartment, shot his daughter, Barbara Gordon. She's paralyzed now, and we pretty much open up with Joker. He's on top of Barbara, and he's just on top of her as she's like in unmeasurable pain. And we're gonna see how his plans pretty much develop and how he's gonna try to drive Commissioner Gordon insane, and what Batman will do about it. But yeah, guys, if you end up liking the video, give a big thumbs up. If you like the content drop, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the next Batman the Killing Joke video. And yeah, guys, enough this intro. Let's continue the story of Batman the Killing Joke. So after we see Joker on top of Barbara, we then continue to pretty much, we go back to the flashbacks. So we see not actually this Joker in the flashbacks, but he's not insane yet, he's just a regular guy. He's meeting up with these mobsters. And he's like, you see, I'm a husband, I have to provide for my family, my wife, my unborn child, but I can't, I need the money, this could be actually big for me. And he's making a deal with these mobsters to go and pretty much make a crime and get money out of it. He'll only do one crime, but it's enough to give him enough money so he can pretty much move his wife and his child, his unborn child, to a nice neighborhood. And he's like, I was a lab assistant before, that was a good job, I threw it away to be a comedian, and I thought I had talent, but I obviously don't, it was a bad idea. And the mobster's like, alright, we get that. He's like, I'm sorry for what's going on, it's just, we're gonna have to have you wear this mask. And pretty much, this guy, the Joker, he's like, hey, I need to be unseen. I don't want to be caught in a crime. He's like, don't worry, we have a thing for that. He's like, you'll wear this Red Hood mask that you'll put on, and you'll pretty much lead us through this pretty much warehouse. And pretty much Joker's job is to lead him past security in this chemical implant, which that's where his origin will pretty much end. But this chemical implant will show up, do some bad stuff, and they'll pretty much carry out their plans. But the whole point of the Joker is to wear this Red Hood mask, not be seen, pull out this heist, this crime, and then he'll get his money. And the guy that we're following, the Joker, is like, wait, but can I wear this? Is there any way to breathe in that? Any way to see? And the guy's like, yeah, there's a way to see. It's fine. It's gonna be very tunnel vision. You won't see as much, but it's enough to get us to the security, and we can work this out. Now, the guy that we're following, the Joker, he's like, well, but is this a good idea? And he starts saying, but what if we pull a crime that's bad? And the mobster's like, hey, don't say that too loudly. And they're like, do you want your child to be in poverty? Do you want your wife? Do you want to suffer? He's like, carry out this job and you'll be fine. And the guy that we're following, the Joker, in the past, let's just say the guy, alright? The guy, he's like, well, but I need this, alright? I'll do it. I'll carry out the crime with you. And the guy's like, alright, good. We'll meet tomorrow night, Friday night, and we'll pretty much plan it out and then carry out the crime that night. Now, we shift back to pretty much a hospital, and we see the doctor talking to Bolland. We don't see Commissioner Gordon there, he's gone with the Joker. But we see Bolland, and this hospital is saying, to be kind of blunt about it, Barbara, she's paralyzed. She's not going to be able to walk for the rest of her life. And Bolland's like, man, this is bad. He's like, turns out that one friend of hers, Colleen, she was killed. He's like, Commissioner Gordon's bad. Do you think Joker's going to the limit? And Batman's kind of mad. He's like, this is wrong. The Joker shouldn't be doing this. And Bolland's like, do you think this is pretty sick? And Batman's like, yes, pretty sick. Please leave me alone. I'll stay with Barbara. And Bolland leaves, and Batman's in the room, which is Barbara pretty much asleep. He's like, Barbara, wake up. And he's like, can you hear me? And then Barbara's like, Bruce, they got him. The Joker's got my father. It's like, they're going to do something to him. They're going to try to drive him mad. The Joker's gone to the limit this time. She's kind of insane. She's she's traumatized. She's like, they're gonna try, the Joker's not stopping, he's going to the limit, you have to do something. And Batman's like, I will. And Barbara's like, what he's doing to my father, it's not good. Like, he did bad stuff to me, but he's gonna do even worse to my father. And then what we see next is we see Commissioner Gordon. And he's at this carnival, and he's pretty much stripped naked by these little like midget goons of Joker. And he's like, what's happening to me? He gets a collar around him, he's shocked, and he's naked, he's on the ground, and he's dragged through the carnival, and he's like, dear God, he sees like the dead guy who's smiling on top of like the pig thing, and he's pretty much put on the floor, and he's like, someone please tell me, what am I doing, what's happening to me? And pretty much the Joker's like, oh, I know exactly what's happening to you, you're going mad. And you see Joker's a dope image. You see all these steps, you see all these different stuff on, like, pretty much traumatizing stuff on each side. You see the Joker in, like, a chair, and he's just sitting back nonchalantly, just watching Commissioner Gordon go insane. And you see Commissioner Gordon, he's like, oh, I remember what you did to my daughter. And Joker's like, oh, you do remember that. He's like, that was past tense, though. Don't worry about the past. It's good to pretty much forget about that. We're pretty much, like, focusing on the here and now. And they drag him, they put him on like this ride in the carnival, and they go through the dark. And Joker's like, be prepared to pretty much go insane forever. And then we shift back to a flashback of Joker, pretty much the guy that we've been following in the past. And you see him walk through, he's talking to the guys, and he's like, okay, it's Friday night, he's like, we're gonna do this. And pretty much the mobster's like, okay, are you down for a night? Are you ready? And the Joker's like, yeah, I'm totally ready for a night. I'd be crazy not to take this up. Like, he'll pretty much provide money for my wife and kids. And they're like, well, you have to wear like pretty much a bow tie to pretty much sell with like your red hood mask. It's kind of like trademark. It's, oh, that's perfect. I lied to my wife earlier about how I was going to like a club engagement for like comedy. So it'll work with like the bow tie. It'll make sense. And he's like, he's all ready for this. He's like, oh, I'm finally turn my life around and help my wife and my unborn child. But that's when the police come in. The police come through the doors, and you see pretty much these two police like, hey, can we talk to you? Can we have a moment with you, sir? And they take him outside. And pretty much Joker's like, what's the problem? He thinks he's being busted for a crime, but turns out they're like, sir, I'm sorry, but your wife had an accident this morning. She was pretty much testing a baby bottle heater, and there's like a electric circuit, and the car blew up, and they're dead. Your unborn child, your wife, they're dead. I'm so sorry about that. And we see this like silence, and we see Joker, and he's like, what? He's like, what? They're dead? He's actually pretty sad about this. He's emotional, and then he goes back inside, and they pretty much, before he goes back inside, the police are like, it's 1,000,001 accidents. Like, this is very rare. It's never happened. And he's like, go back inside. You can deal with your wife and unborn child, like their dead bodies tomorrow. Just go back inside. It seems like you need a drink. Like, it'd be better for you. And Joker goes back inside, and he tells the mobsters, he's like, my wife, she's dead. My wife. And they're like, oh, I'm terribly sorry about that. He's like, but you're still going out with like the job, right? And Joker's like, tonight? Why? There's no point now. The whole point of this is to help my unborn child and help my wife when we turn our life around. But there's no point now. I have enough money to support myself that like I don't need to do this. I don't need to do this crime. And they're like, no. I'm sorry about your wife. The mobster's like, I'm sorry about your wife and your unborn child dying, but you're still doing this. Like, you still have to go and do this mission. You can't back out now. And they're like, if you back out now, you could die like your wife and unborn child. You better be there tonight. And Joker's like, yeah, sure, I'll be there. And the mobster's like, you're with us, right? Get the picture? And Joker's like, yeah, I get it. I'll do it. And you see him put his head on the pretty much table, and he has this weird kind of, he puts his hands over his face, and he's kind of going insane. And guys, to say one thing, there's a lot of focus on the hands in this whole entire comic book. Like, it's a lot of zoom-ins on the hands, which I'll get to a theory at the end of the story about why that is. But guys, another thing that happened here is, I think that the mobsters killed the Joker's wife and his unborn child. Because how it is, like, killing that, like, it makes sense because earlier in the comic book, you see them talking, right? And Joker actually says to them, let me go back to it. So, pretty much Joker says, way back when he met with the mobsters for the first time, he's like, oh, things are never the same. And the mobster's like, yeah, never again. And he has like that kind of like, if you read it, you're like, are they playing something? And then it makes sense that later in the comic book that his wife and child died. So I'm thinking mobsters killed his wife and child so he couldn't back out, and then now he didn't have to worry about family. So that's pretty messed up, and it shows that people can drive other people insane just by doing one thing. But guys, as we continue, we go back to Commissioner Gordon, and he has the same hands, like his head down, same hand position as the Joker did in that pretty much bar. And you see him in like this ride at the carnival, the midget goons the Joker around him, and Joker's like, hey, wake up, sit up, watch this whole thing, and he's pretty much singing a song about going about lunatics and going crazy, and he's like, you'll like this, he's dancing with his goons, and Commissioner Gordon's like, what the heck are you doing? And then we see him pass by, and he sees Barbara, and she's naked, she's going through pain, and there's all these different pictures of her, like pretty much being tortured by the Joker, and he's like, no, this can't be, he's yelling, he's like mad about this, he's yelling, Barbara, he's like, why would you do this, you lunatic? And Joker's like, oh, you're finally going mad, you're going crazy. And then what we shift to is pretty much, before we see this like develop even further, we see Batman traveling through Gotham City, trying to figure out where the Joker is, and we see him meet up with different mobsters, we see him meet up with the Penguin. Yeah guys, we see the Penguin, and Penguin's like, I don't know nothing about it. We see him meet up with all these hookers, these different mobsters, and it shows how like dirty Gotham City is, how many like bad stuff, like you wouldn't want to live in Gotham City. And you see Batman finally show up to like the bat signals shine in the sky. He shows up to a rooftop to meet up with Bolland, and Bolland gives him this card, and it's an invitation to the carnival. And at this carnival is the Joker and Commissioner Gordon, and Batman's like, alright, I'm gonna go for it. He goes to the carnival, but then we shift back to Joker, and Commissioner Gordon's, he gets out of that ride, and Joker's like, hey, Commissioner Gordon, how's things going? He's like, hello, anybody home? He's like thinking Commissioner Gordon's gone insane. And Joker's like, oh, this is boring. He's not even talking. Put him back in his cage. So they put Commissioner Gordon in a cage to pretty much think this over and go even more insane, while Joker looks down at a puddle. And this is actually an interesting scene. You see him look down a puddle, and he's like, how Commissioner Gordon reflect upon life and all its random injustice. It shows that Joker hates life. He's kind of like, he thinks everything happens in a bad way, and he believes this ideal that all it takes is one bad day for somebody to go mad, and that's what happened to him, and that's what he's doing to Commissioner Gordon. And what we see next is back to pretty much the origin of the Joker. You see them make it to the implant, and he's like, he's pretty much daydreaming the Joker in the past about his wife and unborn child, how they died. And the mobster's like, hey, wake up, we gotta pull out this job before we get caught. And we see pretty much Joker put on this red hood mask, he can't see, and he starts leading through this different place. He hasn't worked here in a while too, but he's leading through this different place, and these cops are like, freeze! And the mobster's like, I thought you said there's no security. And Joker's like, well, I have been here a while, they might have changed things up. And they're like, you son of a bitch. He's like, you pretty much led us to our deaths. And they're all mad and stuff, and the Joker's like, it's fine. And they're going through like these different parts of this chemical implant, and they make it through, they go up a ladder, and these like different guys get shot, these mobsters, and they're on the ground, they're bleeding, and they shout to the police, so like, he's the leader of the Red Hood, go after him. And we see Joker running through the chemical the chemical place, the implant, and its police are shooting at him, trying to take him down, but coming out of nowhere is Batman. And he's like, I'm here now, I'll take care of it my way. And we see him jump over, the police stop, Batman goes after the Joker. He thinks it's Red Hood, because the Red Hood has been, like the Red Hood gang has been doing a lot of crimes in Gotham, and he thinks this is just another crime, he's finally gonna take him down. But Joker's like, no, this is not what's supposed to be happening. This is not my fault. He's like, please stay away from me. He's actually scared of Batman. The only time Joker will be scared of Batman. And he jumps over this different railing in the chemical implant, and Batman tries to catch him, but he misses. And Joker falls through these chemicals, and he gets out. He's like, it burns. He takes off the helmet. He's like, I have to see what happened to me. And he gets outside this chemical implant, and he's like, oh no. He looks, and he sees how like hideous he looks. Like, what happened to him? He now has green hair, his eyes are red, he looks like he has white skin, he looks crazy, and he just starts laughing. He laughs uncontrollably, and we see this like really memorable image of him. Just like, this image is used a lot. Like, you think of the Joker, you look up Joker on Google, you see this image immediately, because it's such a famous image of him just finally losing his insanity. Now, we shift back, and we see all these different goons messing with Commissioner Gordon in his like cage, and we see Joker. He's like, oh, did you finally snap? Did you come insane like I did? And he's like, oh, this is gonna be so good. And then we finally see Batman show up in his Batmobile, and Joker's like, huh, you're finally here. And we see Batman get out, he starts walking toward Joker, and Joker's smiling. And we see Batman, finally Joker, pretty much head-to-head about the fight for the final time. Now guys, that's gonna end this video. That's where we're gonna stop. And next video, we'll end this storyline, conclude it with the final battle between Batman and Joker, and I'll pretty much discuss my theories about the ending. But overall, this part of the story, it really showed what happened to Barbara, Joker trying to like drive Commissioner Gordon insane, and showed the Joker's origin story, one of the most fascinating origin stories in the entire comic book industry. And it shows like the ideal that all it takes is one bad day. But that ideal is actually proved wrong in the next part of the story that we'll discuss in the next video. But guys, if you like the video, give a big thumbs up, and new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the great content that I release on a daily basis, and you don't want to miss the conclusion to this fantastic storyline. And guys, in the comment section below, tell me what you thought about this part of the story. What do you think about the Joker's origin story? What's your favorite? Like, I know there's a bunch of different origin stories, like him being the mob, this one, and him being the comedian, and then there's all obviously like that Joaquin Phoenix movie, Joker's origin. So there's so many different origin stories. What's your favorite? And what do you think about this one? Like, what do you think about him falling into the chemical implant? Because that's obviously the most famous. But yeah, guys, that's the video, and peace out.